This story for letter W is titled Worm's Wagon. And worm and wagon both start with the letter W. Our W's are capitalized because these are words in our title. And when they're in a title, we capitalize those words. Our author of this story is Samantha Berger. So Samantha wrote the words. And it's illustrated by Matt Phillips. So Matt drew the pictures. As you're listening to the story, listen for words that start with the W sound. Those are words that start with a W. One day, Worm went to the woods to gather walnuts. He brought his wagon with him. He's probably going to put the walnuts in his wagon. On his way home, Worm saw Woodpecker whistling in a weeping willow. That's the tree. Woodpecker asked Worm for a ride. Woodpecker says, "Wow, what a wagon." Do you think Worm will give Woodpecker a ride? I can see here he does. Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker in his wagon. Soon they came upon Weasel eating watermelon. Weasel asked Worm for a ride. Wow, what a wagon! Do you think Worm will give Weasel a ride? Let's see. Yes. Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker and Weasel in his wagon. Before long, they bumped into Wombat, wearing her new wig. Wombat asked Worm for a ride. She says, "Wow, what a wagon!" Do you think Worm will also give Wombat a ride? It looks like so. Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, Weasel, and Wombat in his wagon. Look at Worm though now. Looks like it's getting a little harder. Next, they met Wolf on his way to work. Wolf asked Worm for a ride. Wolf says, "Wow, what a wagon!" Think Wolf will get in the wagon too? You were right, but look at Worm's face. The wagon is getting heavier. It's more of a struggle to pull. Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, Weasel, Wombat, and Wolf in his wagon. Soon they saw Walrus winking and waving. Walrus asked Worm for a ride. Walrus says, "Wow, what a wagon!" Walrus is really big and heavy. Do you think that will be easy to add him to the wagon? No, look, Walrus gets in and look how Worm is struggling. Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, Weasel, Wombat, Wolf, and Walrus in his wagon. Up ahead they saw Whale playing in the water. Whale asked Worm for a ride. What does Whale say? "Wow, what a wagon!" What do you think is going to happen if Whale gets in the wagon? Make a prediction. Let's see if you're right. Oh, look at poor Worm. Worm wiggled with all his might, trying to pull Woodpecker, Weasel, Wombat, Wolf, Walrus, and Whale in the wagon. There's no room, is there? But the wagon would not move. The wheels started to wobble. That means they were shaking. Wham! The weight was too much for the wagon. It crashed to the ground. "Oh no, my wagon!" Worm wailed. This kind of wailed means cried, yelled out. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Let's see. "Don't worry, Worm," the animal said. Worm's friends worked on the wagon all afternoon. What are they doing? Are they rebuilding it? They're good friends, aren't they? When the wagon was fixed, Worm wiggled into it. Then Wombat, Weasel, Wolf, Woodpecker, Walrus, and Whale pulled Worm all the way home. And Weary Worm had a wonderful ride. Weary means he's tired. Why would he be tired? From pulling all of his friends, right? Got all of his walnuts, now he gets to go home. Let's see if we can find all of the pictures that start with the W sound for letter W. This is a worm. Worm starts with W. This bird is called a woodpecker. And here is a whale. And this is a wolf. And it's blowing in a whistle. And it's wearing a watch. Worm is sitting on this little wall. And here we see a wagon. This is a wombat. And here are some walnuts. And they're right in front of the window. I really hope that we found all of the pictures that start with the W sound. I wonder if you can think of some other words that might start with W.